30 years ago, I fell in love with a woman. She had bright chestnut hair and bold makeup that hardly made her look like the poor widow she was, having lost her husband. Triggered by a certain event, I came to see her vulnerable side. Knowing her true self, I became desperate to help her in any way I could. If I hadn't mustered the courage then, my life would have been completely different. My name is Charles Nelson. Back then, I was a 20-year-old sophomore, lived in an old apartment about a 15-minute walk from college. The apartment, which I had rented through a real estate agent, was cheap and perfect for a student living alone. However, one day, my life was turned upside down by the person who moved into the next room.
Are you a student? I'm Yuri, I just moved in next door today. Nice to meet you.
As soon as she opened the door, the overwhelming scent of her sweet perfume made my head spin. Standing in front of me was a slightly older woman with hair nearly blonde. You, Yuri. I squinted my sleepy eyes at her, but she clearly looked Caucasian.
That's right. Here, this is a little something to say hi.
Yuri, as she introduced herself, handed me some sweets and then hummed a tune as she went into her room next door. I've always been shy and overly serious, and I've had a hard time dealing with women like her. She would leave around the time I came back from college, and wouldn't return until nearly dawn. I guessed she might be working in nightlife, so I tried to keep my distance as much as possible. A month after she moved in, an incident brought us closer together, even though we had never interacted before. That day, I got up unusually early and went jogging along the riverbank in the neighborhood. Getting up early once in a while isn't too bad. Wait, what the? My face twisted in surprise when I saw Yuri drunk in front of the apartment. I tried to pass by without being noticed, looking down, but that wasn't going to be easy. She quickly noticed me.
Hey. It's you. Good morning.
She tangled with me with the peculiar high spirits of a drunkard, ruining the fresh morning air. Good morning.
You're not looking too lively this morning. Cheer up.
As she kept slapping my back, all I felt was irritation. However, at the next moment, her bright smile froze.
Come with me.
She hid behind me as she moved towards her door. Then, she pulled me inside her place. Wait. What are you doing?
Hey, look outside. Please, is he gone?
Huh? What? I opened the door just enough to peek outside. There was a woman walking a large dog nearby and a few pedestrians. No. Nothing special. I said as I closed the door and turned around, only to be shocked. Yuri, who had drunk and cheerful a moment before, was trembling. What's wrong? Are you feeling ill? As I asked, she looked at me with teary eyes and inquired.
Is he gone now?
I had no idea what she was talking about, but since there was no sign of anyone around the room, I nodded slightly. She sighed in relief.
Oh, thank goodness. That was scary.
Surprised by her unusual demeanor, I remembered what had just happened and muttered softly. Was it the dog?
Huh?
That really big dog walking by, did it scare you?
Oh, right. I've been scared of dogs since I was little. I'm so glad you were there. Thanks.
She showed her usual bright and carefree smile. I had exchanged greetings with her a few times, but this was the first time I had really looked at her face as we talked. She's beautiful. I couldn't help but think, despite her heavy makeup, she had a refined look. Does she need to wear so much makeup? I started to become really curious about her. Did you just get back from work?
Work, yes, I work at a bar.
How old are you?
I'm 25. How about you?
I'm 20.
20, huh? You're so young, I'm jealous. I wish I could go back to being 20.
No, 25 is still young.
Really? But I'm a widow, you know.
What?
I got caught up with the wrong guy in college. Dropped out and got married. Then my husband died in a motorcycle accident, and now I'm working in bars to get by.
She spoke cheerfully, but she had lived a pretty tough life. Are you not going back to college?
No way. My late husband left behind a lot of gambling debts. I'm just trying to pay them off.
I realized then, with a smile, she had hidden her struggles and I felt guilty for disliking her without really knowing her. Suddenly, she leaned in close to my face.
Since you're here, why not have some tea?
I'm sorry, I have to attend the class now.
Got it. How about dinner tonight then? I'm off today.
Sure. I agreed almost automatically, but inside I was incredibly nervous. I had never had dinner alone with a woman before. That evening, after class, I visited Yuri's place, and she had prepared a meal for me.
Hi.
Oh, may I come in? Even though I had just been there in the morning, I felt strangely nervous. Unlike her flashy appearance, her place was simple and neatly cleaned. I sat down at the table like a cat on a borrowed pillow, and she brought out dish after dish. Baked potatoes, grilled fish, tomato soup, and fried vegetables. The food was so well prepared, I was genuinely surprised. Of course, it tasted good, and she chuckled as she watched me wolf it down.
You're quite the eater, aren't you?
Sorry, it's just really good.
I'm glad you like it. It's been a while since I cooked for someone. Hey, how about you come by and eat here sometimes?
Really? Can I?
Yeah. It's lonely by myself. It's a deal then.
She extended her hand with a smile. When I shook her hand, I felt a warmth in my chest. Yuri, my name is Charles Nelson. Can I know your real name? As I was leaving, I gathered my courage and asked at the door. She smiled sweetly and answered.
Lily. My name is Lily, young man.
After returning to my room, I kept smiling as I remembered her smile and drifted off to sleep. From that day, we began having dinner together about twice a week. Despite her flashy appearance, she was a kind-hearted woman with a strong core. She was always polite, and her gestures were elegant. With each meeting, I found myself increasingly drawn to her. I wished these moments could last forever. I thought this many times, but I was a student and she worked in nightlife. The only thing that connected us was living in the same apartment building. Other than that, something about her had been bothering me for a while. She had always been afraid of dogs. She definitely said so that time, but occasionally, when I saw her outside, she didn't seem to fear dogs at all. In fact, she would even pet them if they approached. If she wasn't afraid of dogs, then what was that scared behavior about back then? Even though I wanted to ask her directly, I couldn't find the right moment, and before I knew it, 2 months had passed. In the meantime, the worst-case scenario happened.
Stop, let go.
One day, after school, I heard Lily's frightened voice near the apartment. I immediately headed towards the voice, and saw her being pulled by a large man in his 40s. Lily. I hurriedly intervened between them, pulling her away from the man. Are you okay? She was trembling just like before. Seeing this, I remembered the scene from 2 months ago. The day a woman was walking a large dog. Among the passerby was this man. He was large and had a notable scar on his right arm. Back then, I only thought he was a big man, but I finally realized Lily had been scared of him. Hey, what are you doing? Yuri is scared, isn't she? Thinking it was bad to use her real name, I stood in front of him, protecting her. Then, with a menacing look, he grabbed my shirt.
I'm a client of hers. Who the hell are you? Move!
Behind me, I could feel Lily trembling, and I stared him with all the fear I could muster. I won't move. Not a chance. Compared to the burly and strong-looking man, I was skinny and seemed like I could be blown away. My legs were shaking, but I stood firm in front of him, determined to protect Lily.
Idiot!
He laughed and threw a punch at me. Taking the hit like swinging an iron fist, I could barely stand.
Please, stop. Someone, help.
Her screams echoed around the apartment, but he didn't stop. Eventually, he kept beating me until the sound of police sirens approached.
Don't mess with me!
He spat at me lying on the ground, then ran off before the police arrived. I have no memory after that. When I came to, I was in a hospital bed.
I'm sorry. It's my fault, I'm really sorry.
Seeing me wake up, she took my hand, tears streaming down her face. I'm okay. As long as you're safe, that's what matters. One eye wouldn't open, and my mouth was swollen, making it hard to speak. Apparently, I had suffered quite a few injuries, and the doctor who came later told me I needed to be hospitalized for about a week. From that day on, Lily visited me every day. I want to get well soon and have your dishes again. At those words, she smiled sadly, tearing her eyes.
Yeah, someday again.
By the way, has that man come by since then? I'm worried.
The police have been patrolling the area, so it's okay. Besides, I quit the job at the bar.
What? What will you do now?
Well, I'm not sure yet. I just finished paying off my late husband's debts. I haven't really thought about what to do next.
You're free now, you can do anything.
That's true. I can do anything. Hey, what's your dream?
My dream is... I started to speak, but then fell silent. Then she stared me laughing.
What is it? Don't hold back, tell me.
It's embarrassing. Promise you won't laugh.
Of course.
As I shared my dream, Lily's mouth dropped open in surprise. You're surprised, right? Someone like me, maybe it's impossible for me.
That's not true. You can definitely make it.
She looked at me earnestly.
I was surprised when I heard your dream. But a guy is sincere, and just as you definitely should pursue it.
Until now, whenever I talked about my future dreams, people would laugh at me. Everyone would tell me it was impossible or that I wasn't suited for it. But Lily in front of me was serious. She didn't laugh when she heard my dream.
Listen, you absolutely must not give up. Sure, you lost the fight. But as they say, losing is sometimes winning. I believe you can definitely achieve your dream.
Tears naturally spilled from my eyes as I listened to her words. Thank you. I'll do my best. She nodded with a big smile.
Right. Seeing you, I feel like I might try again myself.
What's your dream?
Won't you laugh?
I won't.
Then, I'll tell you specially. My dream is...
What? I was shocked to hear her story. I had no idea she had such a dream. As I stared in astonishment, she playfully nudged me.
You look surprised. It's mutual, you know.
Right. We looked at each other and laughed.
I gave up once when I dropped out of college, but since I told you never to give up.
She blushed and laughed shyly. Lily, I will never give up. So, you must also achieve your dream.
Okay.
Actually, there's one more thing I don't want to give up on. If I ever achieve my dream, then, will you see me as a man? Slowly sitting up in bed, I mustered all the courage I had. Hearing my confession, she smiled gently.
You're in your second year of college now, so in 3 years? That's quite a long time.
Yes. I'm still immature now, not yet the man who could match up to you, Lily.
Don't say that.
She started to say something but hastily closed her mouth.
All right. I'll wait. Let's both work hard towards our dreams.
Yes.
Well, I'll be going now. You're getting discharged the day after tomorrow?
That's right.
I see. I can't come tomorrow or the day after. I'm really glad I met you. Good luck, Charles.
It was the first time she had called me by my name. I was so happy I didn't even notice the tears welling up in her eyes as she waved goodbye. 2 days later, Lily had disappeared. After being discharged, I was devastated to learn from the landlord that she had moved out. According to the landlord, she went back to her parents' home. Probably, she was worried that man might reappear and decided to return home. If she's not coming back here, I might never see Lily again. I had taken for granted that she was always there in the apartment next door, and I was overwhelmed with regret. Every time I remembered her bright smile, like a sunflower, it felt as if my heart was being pricked with needles. I wanted to see her again, one more time. To do that, I must achieve my dream. I turned the sadness of not being able to see Lily into the driving force to fulfill my dream. When I meet her again one day, I want to be someone she can be proud of. Driven, I studied fiercely and thankfully landed a job after graduating. I believed that if I worked hard, I would surely meet her somewhere. Believing so, 5 years slipped by. I was in my 3rd year of working, and my job had finally started to feel right. Although I was satisfied with my daily work, there was still a big hole in my heart. Even after 5 years, I continued to think of Lily. After all this time, she probably had forgotten about me. That's what I thought until one day, when I found a letter in my mailbox. A ticket. When I took the ticket in my hand, I couldn't help but crouch down on the spot. She hadn't forgotten about me. Tears crumpled my face as I clutched the ticket, waiting for the day to come. That Sunday, I put on a suit I rarely wore and headed to the concert hall. With a heart soaring, I took my seat as the host began to address the audience.
Thank you for joining us at Lily White's piano concert today. Please enjoy her performance to your heart's content.
The applause quieted down, and the hall darkened. Seeing Lily in a light blue dress under the spotlight, I found myself crying before I knew it. Her dream was to become a pianist. She had learned piano since childhood and entered a music college, but had run away from home due to a bad relationship. She had abandoned her family and her dream of becoming a pianist. However, after her husband died and she met me, she chased her abandoned dream again. She returned to her family, put in the effort, and now stood on the stage with a refreshingly beautiful smile. After the concert, I waited for her to come out and met her outside the venue. About an hour later, Lily appeared, holding a bouquet. Lily. As I called out to her, tears gleamed in her eyes. Her nearly blonde hair had turned into a glossy black, and her bold makeup had changed to a light one that highlighted her natural beauty. Overwhelmed by her beauty and elegance, I couldn't help but gasp as she stared at me. However, at the next moment, she was stricken with fear.
I finally found you.
Hearing that voice, my whole body froze. Standing before us was the large man who had injured me 5 years ago.
My Yuri, I've been searching for you all this time. Saw the concert poster and recognized you right away.
He had been relentlessly pursuing her even after 5 years. As she stood paralyzed with fear, he approached with a creepy smirk.
I had a hard time finding you after you left the bar. Didn't know where you went. I won't let you escape again.
Seeing him reaching her shoulder, I stepped between them just like before. Stay away from her. Unlike before, I was completely calm. I took a deep breath and slowly exhaled.
Shut up. You. I know you from somewhere.
He stared at me and sneered.
Hey, you're that guy I beat up in front of her apartment, aren't you? I still remember your stupid face from that time.
He was as intimidating as he had been back then, but it had no effect on me anymore. Is that all you want to say? If you're done, please leave. And never appear in front of her again.
What? Who do you think you are? Want me to beat you up like I did that day?
The moment he grabbed my shirt, I twisted his hand and gripped it tightly. Enough of that. You're the one who's going to get hurt if this continues.
Ouch. What do you mean by that?
Frowning, he faced me as I opened my police badge. Listen well. Do not come near her again. If you do, I won't let you get away with it. He turned pale upon hearing this.
Police? All right. Damn it.
After he left cursing, I slowly approached Lily. The dream I wanted to fulfill. It was to become a police officer. My father, whom I still respect, was a police officer, and I had always admired the profession. However, my father passed away from an illness when I was 10. I wanted to become a police officer to fulfill his unfinished aspirations. I spent every day hoping that, but as I grew up, I increasingly lost confidence. Then, I met Lily. It was because she supported my dream without mocking it that I was able to achieve it. She is irreplaceable to me. I expressed my long-held feelings to her. Lily. I've wanted to see you. I've wanted to see you so badly.
It's been a while. Surprised I've gotten prettier?
Tears in her eyes, she tried to hide her embarrassment with a playful smile. Her smile was still as vibrant as a sunflower, and it made me realize once again how much I loved her.
Thank you for coming today. I'm glad you still lived at that old apartment.
I never moved because I thought you would come to visit me one day.
5 years, that's incredible.
Because you said you'd wait.
That's right. I'm sorry. The day I left the apartment without saying anything, I decided not to contact you until I achieved my dream.
She went back to her family, apologized, and continued to work tirelessly until she could become a pianist again. And after 5 years, she was finally able to hold a solo concert.
It was a small concert arranged by an acquaintance.
Tears started rolling down her cheeks.
I thought now I could finally meet you with pride. But I was scared. Scared that you might have forgotten about me.
Forget you? Never. I never once forgot about you, Lily, not in 5 years. My mind was always full of thoughts of you. I gently embraced her. Finally, this day has come. Lily. I've loved you in the past, I love you now, and I will always love you in the future. Will you be my girlfriend?
Charles, thank you for waiting me. I love you, and I'll never leave you again.
She hugged me with a smile. After that, we eventually became couple. We got married 6 months later. I moved out of the long-time apartment to live with her. She continued her career as a pianist even after our marriage. Unbeknownst to me, as I was unfamiliar with music, she had been well known in the music industry since she was young. She had swept many competitions during her childhood and won numerous awards in music school. But she had disappeared suddenly after getting married, which had been a big topic at the time. She made a comeback and had grown to the level where she could hold a solo concert in just a short time. 30 years have passed since then, and now I am 50 years old. I work at the police department and living with Lily and our 2 daughters. Lily, now 55, has retired from active performance and has become a piano tutor. Her smile is as dazzling as a sunflower, and she teaches children piano with joy every day. I never imagined that such happiness would come from that encounter in that shabby apartment 30 years ago. I am grateful to have met Lily, and I look forward to spending the rest of our lives together with a smile.